realize that immigration, detention, deportation is impacting people from all over the world. And there's strategic ways that the U.S. government is targeting different countries. And what's happening at border crisis is happening for Central Americans. But there's also people who are from different parts of the country that are facing this terror as well. And we're welcoming Kevin from Asian American Resource Workshop to talk more about how the detention deportation is targeting Southeast Asian families like mine. Let's give a hand for Kevin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Lam. I use he or they pronouns, and I'm the organizing director with the Asian American Resource Workshop. And so for the past 2 years, we've been organizing against Southeast Asian deportation. And so seeing folks here tonight, to stand up for immigrants' rights and to denounce the detention camps is really, I just really appreciate the ways in which folks are showing up tonight. However, it does leave me with questions. For me, as I was thinking about this, the things that were coming up for me that I want to share with y'all are, what does it mean for us as a community to show up and rally in outrage against the atrocities that are enacted by this administration and country towards refugee and immigrant communities? What is our impact, and what does it look like to transform our outrage into sustained resistance and community power for the long term? This work is hard work, both physically hard and heart work. Over the past couple years, I have seen grassroots organizers and groups vigilantly responding to the increased attacks by this administration on immigrant communities, never letting up, continuing to fight for TPS to protect immigrant communities, folks organizing against counter-violent extremism that targets and surveils Muslim communities, organizing to end Southeast Asian deportations, and folks doing this all while providing simultaneous direct support to vulnerable and impacted folks and their loved ones facing deportation, and doing so much more. What we are seeing is nothing new. When I heard and learned about the detention camps at the border, I couldn't help but reflect on the ways that immigrant and refugee communities are facing now in the camps mirrors the experiences of my family and community as Southeast Asian refugees. 1975, what people know as the Vietnam War, but I call the American War, and the war in Southeast Asia. 44 years ago was a year that this country and government played a role in the devastation and displacement of my community and family from our homelands of Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia. And 44 years later, this same country and government is now targeting Southeast Asian refugees and immigrants who have just begun to rebuild their lives and community and started families for deportation to countries we originally fled from, seeking safety and to survive. All because of past mistakes and decades-old convictions that have since been served. So just last week, as this vigil was being organized in response to the detention camps that simultaneously Southeast Asian organizers and groups, we have learned that up to 40 Cambodian Americans were placed on a deportation flight on July 1st back to Cambodia. This is nothing new, but the attacks are not just on our community, but all immigrant and refugee communities is ramping up under this administration. For the Southeast Asian community, we have been experiencing deportations of our community members under the Obama administration, but the deportation machine created under Obama has been strengthened and ramped up under the Trump administration. Between 2017 and 2018, the deportations that have been happening in the Cambodian American community have ramped up by nearly 300%. So it feels more imperative than ever for us to come together and build collective power to resist. How do we do that? We do not forget about the communities and our folks who are not able to be in the room or space with us. When we think about the detention camps that are at the border, for us, we have to talk about immigration and deportation, not just at the border, but the ways it impacts us overseas. We cannot perpetuate this narrative of the good immigrant versus bad immigrant. We are for immigrants' rights, and if we are for immigrants' rights, if we are for immigrants' rights, we cannot pick and choose between who is deserving and not deserving to stay. And if we are fighting for the person who's here trying to go to school to better their life, we also need to fight for the person who society labels as a criminal, a felon. So we need to demand an end to the deportation machine that is ripping communities and families apart, to organize against the state-sanctioned violence enacted on immigrant communities and black and brown communities, and the ways that the profiling and surveillance of black and brown communities feeds into the deportation pipeline. And to call out the ways in which we and our society is complicit in upholding white supremacy and U.S. imperialism. These are the questions I actually want to offer to everyone, including myself, to really reflect and think about why we're here. So why am I here tonight? What is my stake in this? What does my commitment to long-term organizing for immigrants' rights look like? And what am I willing to give up or sacrifice to truly begin to transform the systems and conditions we are living under? All right, thank you.